have my BlackBerry sitting down someplace on the seat or someplace else, or maybe even in the holster, I can control those MP3s, move the chapters, titles, everything else I need, all right from there. That's a huge feature. We thought Bluetooth was going to be a little bit of an anomaly in a built-in function, but because of streaming A2DP, it's taken off like wildfire. Your dealers need to promote it. Okay? In addition to this, we also have an oversized 7-inch in a single DIN that hangs down with the 4-position motorized, much like you see here with tilt, where these things will tilt out with a 4-position move or allow you to be able to get to your DVD function here behind this when you hit in tilt mode. Okay, but what you do to tilt is press and hold. We'll say angle, and then you can control the angle of your screen, because depending on your car, it'll sit either higher or lower in the dash depending on the positioning of your radio. This allows you to get your screen angle right. Okay, we also use an anti-glare type screen on these, so you have less glare because you have so much ambient sunlight in a car that will come in and usually wash out pictures real bad. These don't wash out, but it's because it's newer technology. That's another huge feature. Okay, again, in the 4.3 and the 7-inch oversized that hangs down, full detachable. Last year it wasn't. We had a cover that went over the screen to be able to cover the 7-inch that looked like air conditioner vent to keep, you know, from having theft issues. This year we were actually able to make it full detachable. And it comes with a soft carrying case and so forth to be able to put it in your glove box, carry it with you, or do whatever you want. Very, very good pricing, good margins to the dealers. Huge, huge factor. In this 7-inch, one of the other things that you need to know is when you're in this mode and everything, and you go to radio, you can have the screen folded in and it still gives you your radio readout here on the end, so you know what channel or station you're on. Because that's also a huge feature in case you don't want the screen up and you just want to know what radio station you're on. So again, real nice. You got your phone connect and disconnect here, as well as when you're in Bluetooth functions, you've got, excuse me, when you're in Bluetooth functions and everything, you got the ability to connect and disconnect right here. So great, great setup. Now, in our non-graphic user interface system, you'll notice that the chiclets on the front are different than what you see here. Okay, this has the ARM9 chip. This is not the ARM9 chip, but this is more of a price point oriented piece. Now we've got this in 7-inch and also what's called exact DIN. The 735 is exact, meaning it's 6.95. The Japanese call that 7. It's not 7, but the reason they call that 7, or the reason it's 6.95, is because in Japanese cars you have to rear ISO mount. It has to come in from behind the dash. Our 7-inch, which is a lower price point and everything, works fine in most cars, but it has to be mounted in a dash kit from the front. It can't rear ISO mount. So if you have a customer that says, I need rear ISO mounted product, sell them the 735, and you'll notice it says exact on the catalog. And that's why it says it. So you can do rear ISO mounts with those. Okay? All of these units also have the ability to add iPod cable. It's an IC1 cable. That allows you to be able to hook your iPod up. It will charge it. You can leave it in the glove box, on the dash, wherever you want it to be. It keeps your iPod charged up while you're playing your music, leads you into song 1, and goes right on through. Later on this year, we will introduce a newer version of the cable which will require a ping chip to be added to these units that will give you full control, which by other manufacturers usually cost 60, 80 bucks, will be a heck of a lot less from us. Okay? So those are some of the other features you've got. The other thing that you'll notice too on all the newer units with the new graphic user interface, all the connectors on the back, there's a skein of RCAs back there that's enough to frighten you. You got inputs, outputs, camera, everything on this thing, and it's on detachable Molex. So if you don't use the RCAs, you can remove the Molex to make it easier for install. So another nice feature that we did for ease of installation, because we try to focus on what the installer wants. Because that installer is the guy that has to put it in, and they hate this stuff when it gets too much wires back there. So we've got everything that you could possibly want here. We've also got in our power acoustic line amplifiers and so forth, subwoofers, everything you need for your dealers to be able to make high levels of profit, but the video business, there's several things that are happening this year that we also need to instruct our dealers. Starting in September, almost every car manufacturer is going to a new headrest restraint system that won't allow you to do this. Because the headrests are electronic, in a crash, the headrest moves forward. Okay? And it's to help make sure that people don't get whiplash and so forth. So in my travels around dealing with the expediters and everything, they're saying to me, I need small screens that I can ceiling mount. And many of the expediters asked us for a 9-inch with DVD and a 9-inch slave, which we also make just in a monitor so they can mount 2 screens. So they can go from the outputs of video into the input of the other one and have screens for both kids. That's the direction they're starting to go this year because they can't necessarily replace the headrests. But all the older cars, which we have 100 million or more of out there on the streets, can still take headrest replacements and so forth. And believe me, what we've started to find the last couple of years, nobody's cutting in screens anymore. Too expensive. I screwed up a headrest in Daytona Beach a couple of years ago, $500 to replace the headrest from the dealer. I overcut it. Kind of frightening. So the built-in units with the ability to have DVD and your TV screens already pre-done are very, very well accepted by your customers. And that's what we need to focus on as well for the older vehicles.